the Oklahoma Council for Public Affairs. This is our right-wing think tank that puts out propaganda about things that aren't even happening, or just takes, like, again, a kernel of truth and just twists it into something that it definitely is not. And so they're, November 8th, they're accusing the Department of Ed of touting CRT, and they make sure to stick that Marxist-derived theory thing in there. And then they go on to describe something that is definitely not CRT and has nothing to do with anything. They're really just trying to paint Joy as somebody who cares about racism and that that's a bad thing. And so, I mean, again, this is like what they do. They take white anxiety about a diversifying country and weaponize it into political power or political pushback. So anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's like that anxiety plus white fragility combined creates action, right? It's like, and I mean, and it seems to be like coming together for these folks, like, especially if we're talking about in areas like the white suburbs or like, you know, the exurbs in general, like folks are, like, nobody really understands like what CRT is, but to them, CRT is like, we can't teach that my great great grandmother may have supported segregation. Like I can't, like, they can't teach that.
No, almost definitely, like statistically bipolling, almost definitely supported segregation, right? I mean, like,
it's policies like that like, you know, they don't, and again, it's like it's absolving of guilt. Like they want to feel forgiven.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a generational problem. We're still dealing with it generations later.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Anyway, so this drivel from OCPA is just it's really gross. And they're focusing on like lessons, like in this one, like talking about race. Like literally, the lesson is called talking about race, but this, like, you know, we can't even talk about it. And that's the funny thing too about like the University of Austin thing, because, you know, these are the people, they're like, you know, I'm not allowed to say certain things, or, you know, cancel culture and all this stuff. And it's like, you're literally fighting a lesson that's called talking about race. Like that is the level of which your cancellation has gotten, that you can't even talk about this issue. Like that's what you're upset about.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, just from what I've been able to gather from this article, it wants to deny the existence of white privilege as a whole. Like, no, we're not privileged. That's what they're trying to like put out here. Is just like white privilege is not a thing. Like we're all the same. True equality. Insert Martin Luther King quote here. How Republicans tend to do every year. It's MLK Day. It's like it's not about being black or white. No, that's not the point here. And I don't know. I think at this point in time, it is just simply an ability to try and keep any form of conversation about differences or stuff like that out of the classroom. Like you should all be doing the same. It should be okay. Like everything should be working according to plan, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, it's this like mythical past narrative, you know, that like, hey, we solved racism in the 1960s and it's over, even though, you know, I mean, mass incarceration has massive racial disparities. Like, you know, white wealth is 12 times black wealth, and, you know, black home ownership hasn't changed in 40 years. I mean, like, there's like all these things you can show. And, you know, it's kind of like how we covered the, or broke the story about Dave Rader and his like racist comments. Like personally, I don't care about his poor use of language. I mean, he's an idiot, and, you know, like that's it. What I actually really cared about was like the suggestions that he was making, like while saying the racist things. Like he was, you know, suggesting like the model minority myth and like these things that aren't true, that hurt both the model minorities and, you know, are deeply racist concepts in and of themselves. So it's like, it's stuff that like we need to learn, unlearn, relearn, whatever you want to call it. And like groups like OCPA and conservatives like don't even want you to talk about it. Like you can't even talk about it. Thanks for watching our video. Please give it a like and hit that subscribe button for more content. If you want to engage with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram